Hey there, welcome to a very special edition of the Best Damn Sports Show on YouTube and Streamy.com today, TXN Sports World. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am joined by Michael Bullock. We are awaiting the presence of good old MF Michael Fletcher. MF is running late. He gave us he instructed us to start the show without him, so that's exactly what we're going to do here tonight. And while we wait for good old MF Michael Fletcher to come on in, unfortunately, we have to start tonight's show on a somber note. But before I get into that, of course, coming up tonight is one of, if not my favorite show of our regulation shows. Tonight, as you all know, this past Wednesday night, the NFL released the 2024 regular season schedule. And we are going to have our usual fun with that here tonight. And but before we get into that, we will also have the latest installment of the Ranger Roundup. But before that, we have to start the show tonight on the somber note. Tonight will be unfortunately is going to be served as the season finale of the Bruins beat. And without any further ado, let's dive on into what happened here tonight. Gustav Forsling scored the tie-breaking goal on a rebound with 1:33 left in the third period, and Sergei Bobrovsky stopped 22 shots for the Florida Panthers to defeat the Boston Bruins 2-1 tonight and win their second-round playoff series in 6 games. The Panthers advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they will square off against my and Michael Fletcher's New York Rangers. Game 1 of that will be on Wednesday night at Madison Square Garden. Anton Lundell scored for the Panthers and also set up the game winner when his shot was deflected to the left side of the net. Forsling came in and beat Jeremy Swayman. The Panthers, who also knocked the Bruins out of the playoffs after their record-setting regular season last year, went 3-0 and won all 3 games in Boston. Swayman stopped 26 shots for the Bruins. Pavel Zacha scored to give Boston a 1-0 lead late in the first period, but they were unable to beat Bobrovsky again. The Bruins did get their captain, Brad Marchand, back after he missed 2 games with an injury believed to be a concussion. The longest tenured member of the roster got a big ovation at introductions, but did not figure in the scoring. Boston took the lead with a minute left in the first when Jake DeBrusk made a no-look backhanded pass to Zacha to send him on a breakaway. Brandon Carlo also helped by flattening Carter Verhaeghe at the blue line to keep him from pursuing the puck. But Florida tied it with 7 minutes left in the second after a scramble in front of the Boston net that left DeBrusk on the ice. Lundell swooped into the slot and swept the puck past Jeremy Swayman. And the Bruins were called for having too many men on the ice for a record 7th time this postseason. The bench minor early in the second period did not result in a goal for the Florida Panthers. So, unfortunately, Bruin fans, it's the end of the road for you guys. And let's break it down here. Shots on goal, 28-23 in favor of Florida. The hits were 40-38, also in favor of Florida. The Bruins did, however, have the edge in the faceoffs. Bruins had 40 faceoff wins to 25 for Florida. 61.5% of faceoff wins for Boston, only 38.5% for Florida. Both teams went 0 on the power play. Florida 0-3 on the power play. Boston 0-2 on the power play. No shorthanded goals. The Bruins committed 4 penalties for a total of 8 minutes. The Panthers committed 3 penalties for a total of 6 minutes. Bruins had 24 blocked shots. Florida had 23. Florida had 5 takeaways. Boston had 3. Boston gave the puck away 16 times. Florida only gave it away 9 times. And, well, there isn't anything else left to say except, unfortunately, this is the end for the Boston Bruins. And Michael Bullock, it's never easy when we have to start a show on a somber note, but we have to here tonight. I know this is a hard one for you, but the good thing is for you, at least you still got your At least you still got your Boston Celtics to look forward to. By the way, their Eastern Conference Final Series will be starting on Tuesday night at TD Garden in Boston against the New York Knicks or the Indiana Pacers. So
yeah. As a result of the Timberwolves forcing a Game 7.
Yes, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they did so in grand fashion as well. My gosh, I mean, that was one of the most dominant beatdowns I've ever seen. 115-70. Are you kidding me?
That was an ass kicking, if I might say so.
Good Lord. But nonetheless, unfortunately, Bullock, it ends for Boston here. But you got out of the first round. An incredible series against Toronto. A Game 7 overtime thriller that Boston won thanks to Pasta, David Pastrnak. And I mean, they won the first game in Florida, and we're thinking, ooh, maybe they have a chance at this thing. But then they fell behind 3-1. Hey, they got it back to Boston for a Game 6. You're thinking, hey, maybe we got a punch a shot at this thing. But the Florida Panthers, like the New York Rangers, they're like, no, that's not going to happen. So, well, as the old saying goes, man, so close yet so far away. Once again for the Boston Bruins season finale of the Bruins beat. And sorry, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. I mean, it's never easy when it's talking about the end of a season, especially when it's the Bruins. I mean, they got off to such a good start. I mean, up 1-0, and we're like thinking they just might do this. They may be able to force a 7th game, but like you said, with about 7 minutes to go in the second period, that's when the Panthers tied it, and then they literally just ripped our hearts out by getting that goal with about a minute and a half to go in the game. So, yeah, and that was pretty much what sent the Panthers to the conference finals, and now have a date with your New York Rangers, Florio. So, yeah, so now the question is, what's next for the Bruins in the off season? They probably might have to get some scoring when it comes to like some goal scorers that are out there. So yeah, so who knows what the future holds for this team, and of course, what does the future hold for Jim Montgomery? Because you know that there's going to be talks about that he should be fired and all that, but we'll just wait and see how it all plays out. So, like you said, they got through the first round, but unfortunately, Lady Luck wasn't on their side. So, end of the line for the Bruins. So, we'll see what the offseason brings for them. So yeah. So there's really nothing more for me to say. So, oh, and yes, we got good old MF Michael Fletcher in as he's just joined us. So, so Fletch, we just did the Bruins beat. Want to give a quick thought, as unfortunately my team season has come to an abrupt end.
Yeah, that was a shocker. Look, the Boston played absolutely an incredible game. I don't think you can really say much about it. Florida is a pesky squad, man. They can kill you with 4 lines. I think that's been the thing that we were talking about going in, is that, what's the makeup of the squad? And we saw early on, this team just grinds you down, tries to, they'll hit you in waves. And that's one thing that we were noticing the whole time. The Bruins definitely, they were the counter punchers. They actually did have a good situation. Everything was looking good. We were thinking, all right, maybe there might be an overtime, and then that goal was that's a dagger, man. I don't care who you are, what team you represent. That is the cruelest way to go out in the playoffs. For me, even for me, I just felt my heart broke for Boston, man. That was a devastating blow. my heart goes out to all the Bruins fans out there. They're hurt. They're hurting, guys. Let's not kid ourselves on this one. This was a shocker. This was a stunner. Nobody saw that coming. That late of a goal with that much time left, and with everything that was riding on the line. Again, another tragedy at TD Garden tonight. I don't know what it is about closeout games with the Boston Bruins and TD Garden. This I don't even know where to rank this. You know, the 2 goals in 46 seconds, Stanley Cup final against Chicago. The goal from Tampa a year ago that knocked out the greatest Bruins team of all time, and now this Florida sticking the dagger into Boston again and twisting the knife on them and ending their season. I mean, oddly enough and unfortunately enough, that it hurts. I mean, there's no way for me to slice it, to cut it. I could say some junk, but I'm not. But especially the way the Bruins lost tonight, I'm not going there. I don't need to go there. I don't need to pour the salt in the wound. That's hard. Now, if Florida would have blown Boston out, then I would have had my fun side start poking fun at Michael Bullock and and start blasting the Bruin Nation. But the way they lost tonight, I'm not even gonna do that. I'm not that evil. So I'm not gonna go there and twist the knife even further on Boston fans. They're grieving. That was a hard loss. That like I said, if you lose a game with a certain amount of time, fine. It happens. That's part of the game. When you lose the game with 93 seconds left in the game in regulation and the goal happens there, no, that's heart ripper. That's like to steal a line from Full House, and Anthony, you're gonna know that. Rip the heart out, throw the heart on the ground, and do the Mexican hat dance all over the heart. That's basically what Florida did tonight on Boston. Exactly that. Every sense of the word. Absolute devastation. Great game, great season for the Bruins. Man, I don't even know where you go. I mean, Montgomery, I don't know if he stays. I think Cam Neely might be fired. The Bruins management loves Don Sweeney, so I think Sweeney might be able to get away and keep his job as general manager.
Well, in your opinion, Fletch, do you
Sure.
think Jim Montgomery should be fired or not? Because there's some people in the Boston media that feel like that Montgomery should be fired.
The thing is, and here's the problem, and I know I'm going to get a lot of heat from you, Michael Bullock, about this. Unfortunately for Montgomery, when you have a squad like you do, and you know the culture of the Bruins, the legacy, the everything, you know this is an original 6 team, and the thing is, it's always been Stanley Cup or bust. Fair or not fair, it is. And to see how other teams have gotten better, where the Bruins had the greatest season ever, but then lost in the first round. I mean, I'm surprised Montgomery didn't lose his job then. Now, this year, you guys came in second place in your division. You beat Toronto, good. But then you lose to the very same Florida Panther team that knocked you out a year before. And the thing is that now this is where I would like to be a fly on the wall right now in the Bruins organization. Has Montgomery lost the locker room? Was Montgomery a better option than Bruce Cassidy. Now remember, when Cassidy left, I told you all what was going on. Remember, I broke that news that there was internal infighting within that locker room, that certain players did not like Cassidy and basically forced management to have him fired. We all remember what happened after the fact. Bruce Cassidy, first year in with the Vegas Golden Knights, got him to the Stanley Cup. So the thing is that what is the direction for the Bruins? Where do they want to go? Because right now, there's a gap between winning the Stanley Cup and where you want to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
The team is good. Like, if you look at them from 1 to 25, you have a team that can win the Stanley Cup. Like, there's no doubt about it. Your squad has the better goaltending, some very good stars, veteran and young players, and defensively, you're pretty good. This roster should have at least given you a shot at the Stanley Cup. And for them to be knocked out this early in round 2, I hate to say it, but it is a failure for the Boston Bruins because of the standard, because of the legacy, because of everything that the Bruin Nation are hoping for. This is a failure. And unfortunately, for Montgomery, this might cost him his job. Now, does he deserve to be fired? No. But in any type of sport, and I hate to say this, but it is true, it's a what have you done for me lately type leagues. Guys who, the window of opportunity is closing faster now because they want you to win right away. They want you to be productive, in the mix, fighting for a championship, because that is the desire and the want of the fans. Montgomery had this great season, one of the all-time great seasons for the Boston Bruins, but then failed in the first round. Again, this is the expectation of the Bruins faithful. They want the Stanley Cup. They got that taste years ago, and they want that taste again. They got to the Stanley Cup final. Yes, they lost in 7 games to St. Louis. Then they lost to Chicago previous before that. But you're not getting any better. You're actually regressing. And that is where the line is being drawn, Michael Bullock. Fair or not fair. And and that is a debate for another day. But if you ask me point blank, should Montgomery be fired? Unfortunately, the answer is yes. Unfair, and that's an unfair point because the guy is very good in the regular season, and he's a great regular season coach. But when it comes to the big moments, when everything is on the line, other than the series against Toronto, he has not delivered the goods. And unfortunately, that's an unfair take, and I get it. But you also have to remember,
this is Boston. This is Boston we're talking about here.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
And like you said, I mean, would it be fair that Montgomery would be fired? No, it wouldn't be fair.
No.
But because of what these fans, what they expect, they'll probably say Montgomery's not the guy. He's got to go.
Yes.
And there's going to be a lot of people that'll say that tomorrow, and especially during the week, especially one guy on talk radio that I can't stand, and you guys know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Adam Jones.
And not only that, but I'm not even going to say something that I know I'm going to get a lot of anger, but I don't care. Cam Neely has to go. I'm sorry. The way that the team has been constructed, the way that the team has been underperforming, if I'm the Boston Bruins, Cam Neely and Don Sweeney has to go. I'm sorry. If you're going to get rid of the coach, then blow the whole thing up and start from the beginning. Because this team here is not it. And I'm being very honest with you. There are a lot of guys on that team that got to go. I think Frederic did not show up in this playoffs and should not be re-signed or should be traded away.
Now what about Linus Ullmark?
Gone. Out.
That's what Adam Jones said too.
Here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. One, you have your number one guy, Jeremy Swayman. Two, you got somebody in Providence right now who will absolutely become the star of the Boston Bruins. There's a goaltender in the Providence Bruins system right now who is NHL ready and should get the opportunity next year. There's a few guys that are NHL ready that's playing in Providence right now that should get called up to the main roster. So this is more of there's certain guys that deserves to be kicked off the team, like JVR, James Van Riemsdyk. He didn't really do much for Boston, folks. Let's be realistic. Frederic should be gone. Brendan Carlo should be gone. If you can get, I would extend Pasternak because Pasternak is without a doubt your star. I don't know what happened to Marchand. Marchand also should stay. Ullmark should be traded. You already got a good goaltender in Providence that can be a star. Then there's a player right now named Oliver Edmund Larson who wants to become a Boston Bruin. Sign him immediately if you can. Give him whatever he wants on the contract. 5 years, $40 million. Sign that player right now. That guy will be a difference maker for the Boston Bruins next year. I'm telling you, there's going to be some new look, a different look to the Boston Bruins, but I can tell you now, this Bruins team will be better next year with certain guys, certain players, that even the ones that I just mentioned. That would be a factor that will help the Boston Bruins get back into that Stanley Cup mode that they are in, that they are supposed to be in right now.
Man, Florio, I don't know how in the world you're going to top that.
In the immortal words of the great Ben Stein, I shall do my best.
Man, I mean, Fletch came out in a blaze and basically
guns blazing. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that if those moves are made. Now, whether they actually do it or not, that remains to be seen. But
it does.
We definitely got to keep an eye on this during the off season for the Bruins.
We most certainly do.
Oh, we definitely will. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. We'll definitely. The Bruins stories will definitely be coming back up, especially during our off season for TXN Sports World, no doubt.
No question.
Yeah, no question. Because we're gonna keep an eye on who stays, who goes, who gets traded, who gets fired. I mean, so many questions that are gonna have to be answered during this off season.
So with that,
and one more quick thing, Florio, before we move on.
Yes,
we got breaking news. There will be a Game 7 between the Pacers and the Knicks, as the Pacers have won 116-103.
And if you're a Celtic fan like Michael Bullock, you're literally licking your chops right about now. So
this is exactly, I think, what they wanted. You want to see these two
beat the
go
hell
at
out
it
of
for
each other.
one more game, because now that we know that the series starts on Tuesday, one of these teams is only going to have 1 day of rest.
Celtics will have had 5.
Yeah. So now we'll know our opponent come Sunday.
Yes, indeed. So we know. So with that will conclude the dramatic portion of our show here this evening. But I forgot to mention 3 stars of the game. Third star was Jeremy Swayman, 26 saves. Number 2 star was Sergei Bobrovsky with 22 saves. And the number 1 star was Gustav Forsling, who scored the game-winning goal for the Florida Panthers as they defeat the Boston Bruins 2-1 to end their season, winning the series in 6. And, it's sad, but, it is what it is. Florida, they wanted it more. And my standouts, of course, Lundell, goal and an assist, 8 face-off wins. Barkov, 7 face-off wins. Let's see, Rodriguez with 5 hits. Stenlund with 3 face-off wins. Reinhart, 5 face-off wins. Verhaeghe with a face-off win, also had 2 hits on the night. Rodriguez also had 5 hits, like I mentioned. Bennett had 4 hits. Lomberg with 4 hits. Kulikov with 5 hits on the night. Montour with 4 hits on the night. And Bobrovsky making the timely saves. And for the Boston Bruins, Charlie Coyle, for me, was the best player on the ice tonight. 13 face-off wins, had 3 hits on the night. Zacha, right behind. I can make an argument for Zacha as the best player on the ice tonight for the Boston Bruins. A goal, 3 hits, a takeaway, 12 face-off wins. Geeky, 9 face-off wins. I also had 5 hits. Standout performance for Geeky. Let's see. Beecher, 4 face-off wins. Frederick had a couple of face-off wins with 2 hits. Pasternak, 3 hits. Carlo with 3 hits. And McAvoy with 3 hits. And Swayman, up until the end, made some timely saves, but, this was not meant to be. So congratulations to the Florida Panthers. And they will go back to the Eastern Conference Finals to defend their Eastern Conference championship from last year. But they will not be doing it against the Carolina Hurricanes this time around. Oh, no. Oh, no. So, and why is that? Well, good old MF Michael Fletcher and I will tell you exactly why that's not to be. Doc, there's nothing left for me to say.
Let's do it.
How about them New York Rangers as we continue, as we will have at least one more round of the Ranger Roundup. And what an incredible comeback, in the immortal words of the late, great Richard Dawson from his Family Feud in the 70s. Last night, simply put, the comeback of the year.
Well, it started out a little rough, but my goodness, what a game we had. It was game 6 of the Eastern Conference second round. The New York Rangers versus the Carolina Hurricanes back in the Caniac area in Raleigh. And here we go, guys. So it started out good for Carolina. Martin Necas getting the goal. Martinook and Orlov getting the assist at 18:38. That gave Carolina a 1-0 lead. Then Carolina scores again. Seth Jarvis getting the goal with Sebastian Aho and Samsonov getting the assist. It was 2-1. Oh, by the way, power play goal. The second power play goal of the series for Carolina. So then, after that, the Rangers gets one back. Vincent Trocheck getting the goal on Terry Panarin with the assist at 5:29. The Rangers cut the lead at 2-1. Then at 9:23 in the second period, Sebastian Aho getting the goal. Samsonov and Slavin getting the assist. And it was 3-1 Carolina going into the third. Deep down, we're kind of thinking, this is not good. This could end up as a disaster, and we might be heading to a game 7. Well, then a lot of craziness happened. So, started off, Chris Kreider getting a goal at the doorstep, Mika Zibanejad and Roslovic getting the assist. Basically, it was Frederick Anderson making a humongous mistake. Did not protect the puck, did not save the puck. It kind of was wedged underneath, and Kreider's like, thank you. I'll put that in. I'll poke it in, and it goes behind the net. Goal for the New York Rangers. So it was 3-2. Then of controversial penalty, basically, Mika Zibanejad got cross-checked by Jordan Staal. That was a 2-minute minor, and the Rangers make them pay. Kreider getting a tip-in off the pass from Panarin. Vocek getting the assist. Tie game, 3-3. Then Roslovic gives it to Ryan Lundgren. Lundgren throws it on net, and Kreider gets the hat trick. At 15:41, the Rangers comes all the way back from 3-1 down, has a 4-3 lead, and then with 49 seconds left in the game, Barclay Goodrow, Keandre Miller gives it to Goodrow. Goodrow launches it down ice, empty netter, goal. 5-3 New York. Game over. Series over. Rangers win by the final score of 5-3. They knock out Carolina out of the playoffs. And my goodness, you know what? We were saying that New York had it ended in 6. We did not need to go to the game 7. New York slams the door in 6. And oddly enough, 4 unanswered goals forced it to a game 6. 4 unanswered goal by the New York Rangers slams the door on the Caniacs and turned the Hurricanes into tropical depressions. So at the end of the day, that's the story. And the Hurricanes outshot the Rangers 36-24. Face-off was a draw. 31-31. Power play. The Canes had 1 power play. They scored on that one. Rangers had had 2 power plays. Got the one. That was the one that tied the game. Rangers out-hit the Hurricanes 36-22. Block shots 17-13. 3 stars of the game. The number 3 star was Vincent Trocheck. Number 2 star was Sebastian Aho. And the number 1 star was Chris Kreider. The hat trick in the game. Unbelievable outcome. Anthony, it was not good after the first 2 periods, but once it got to the third, New York Rangers, no Quentin NY. They showed the NHL why they are the President's Trophy winners, why they are now the new odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup. They stuck it to Carolina, and for the second time in recent years, they rip it out in Carolina and sent them home.
Indeed, they did. And wow. Of course, I forgot to mention the 3 stars of the game. Number 3 star.
Oh, I mentioned it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got sidetracked for a moment.
Yeah, that's fine.
But that, you can't blame me because, you know, I'm just so damn excited, man. I mean, I'll tell you, MF, Game 7 was staring us right in the face. It really was.
It was. Yep, no doubt.
Going into that third period, I said to myself, great. Game 7. Just what we needed. Just what we didn't need. And go figure. The same way the Carolina Hurricanes beat us in Game 5 in the Garden Monday night when they scored their 4 goals in the third period. What are the odds that we ended up doing the exact same thing to them in their house? What were the odds of that?
I call it poetic justice, my friend. That's poetic justice.
You damn right it's poetic justice. Oh, my God. I think it's needless to say who the best player on the ice was last night for the New York Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher James Kreider. That's who it was. Natural hat trick. Also had 4 hits. He also had a face-off win. And here's a little Tony fun fact for you. The third Ranger in franchise history to score a natural hat trick in the third period of a Stanley Cup playoff game. MF, the other 2?
Oh, I know. One
do
I know instantly because it was 1994, game number 6.
The guarantee.
In the Eastern Conference Final. It was Mark Messier. I knew that. I did not know the second one, and boy, was I surprised who it was.
Yep. The backstory, of course, Mark Messier. We all remember it. The infamous guarantee. The headline, Mark Messier, we will win Game 6 tonight. When they fell behind the New Jersey Devils 3-2 in that Eastern Conference Finals, Devils jumped out to a lead, and Mark Messier took it upon himself to save the season. And then, of course, we all know how that ended. The Rangers went on to win the Stanley Cup. So the third period, Hattie by Messier defeats New Jersey 4-2. And then, of course, Matteau. Enough said there. The other, not only Mark Messier, but the great one himself, Wayne Gretzky. Game 2. I remember when it was. Game 2 of the 1997 Eastern Conference Finals against the Philadelphia Flyers. Gretz scored a third period hat trick. And now Chris Kreider can say, I did something Mark Messier and Wayne Gretzky did before me. Messier, Gretzky, Kreider. Wow. I don't know what else there is to say there. Outside of Kreider, of course, you know my guy, my guy, Vinny Trocheck, man. Vincent Trocheck. 14 face-off wins, 4 hits, a takeaway. Oh, by the way, he also had a goal and an assist against his former team. He stuck it to his former team. Again, I say thank you, Mr. General Manager, for making that happen. Wenberg, five. Actually, no. Let me go back. Zibanejad, 6 face-off wins. He also had an assist on the night. Now I can say Wenberg with the 5 face-off wins with the 2 hits and a takeaway. Lafreniere, 4 hits, a takeaway, and a face-off win. Brodzinski with 2 face-off wins and a takeaway. Will Cooley, 5 hits on the night. Keandre Miller, 4 hits, a takeaway and an assist. Schneider, 4 hits. Lindgren, 3 hits and an assist. And, of course, Igor Shesterkin. I mean, what can you say? I mean, he gave up those 3 goals after 2 periods, and then in the third period, he shows you why he is a former Vezina Trophy winner. He took everything that Carolina threw at him, stood on his head, nearly let one get by off the stick of Gensel, made some clutch saves. When Carolina pulled Anderson for that extra attacker in full-on desperation mode. Cool as a cucumber, man. But I will acknowledge the Carolina Hurricanes. Dreary, 8 face-off wins with a takeaway. Aho, goal and an assist, a hit, 3 face-off wins. Kuznetsov, 9 face-off wins. Nietzsche, a goal, 4 hits, a takeaway. Jordan Staal, 9 face-off wins. Svechnikov, 2 assists, also had 5 hits and a takeaway on the night. Teravainen with a couple of takeaways. Chatfield with 3 hits. And unfortunately, Freddie Anderson couldn't make the saves when it mattered. Early he did, but later on he did not. So I will acknowledge the Carolina Hurricanes. Congratulations on another wonderful season. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You're definitely going to be in the mix again next year. No question about that. But this time around, the teacher beats the student. We all remember Peter Laviolette was the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes when they won the Stanley Cup in 2006. And who was the team captain of that team? Rod Brindamore, the Hurricanes head coach. So in a sense, we can say the teacher beat the student last night. But my God, as I said in the messenger chat with MF last night, we had a messenger chat last night, and all I can say is, like I said to him, I effing love this team. No quit in New York. Comeback of the year. And in closing, let's go Rangers. We want the cup. Halfway home. And now, MF, oh boy. You thought the Hurricanes were tough. Oh boy. We got just as much of a buzzsaw here. But then again, in the immortal words of Ric Flair, you want to be the man, we got to beat the man. And they are the defending Eastern Conference champions, the Florida Panthers. And this is not going to be an easy series at all. Do I think we can win? Most definitely, because we've got the home ice advantage. And 6, I see this thing's going 6 or 7 easy. And next week we will have we'll preview this series as well as the Western Conference Finals in the Stanley Cup playoffs and the conference finals in the NBA as well. That'll be next week. So congratulations, Rangers. Thank you, Rangers. And way to pull that one out, man. Unbelievable. And they literally pulled one out of their Broadway hat last night. So, and how good did Kreider look in that Broadway hat, MF? I mean, yeah. That's all I can say on that. Never more deserving of that Broadway hat, indeed. So, halfway home, boys. So, Wednesday night, let's get it on. Florida, we're ready. We're ready. So, that's all I can say. Madison Square Garden, MF, you know that's our series, of course. And, my God, is that going to be something else? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're saying, come on, where's the schedule? Relax. It's coming right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this past Wednesday night, of course, as we all know, the NFL finally released the regular season schedule for the 2024 regular season. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. For those of you who may be new to our schedule release special, we pick out our notable games of each week. Simple as that. And we start at the beginning. Week 1. It will all kick off on Thursday night, September the 5th, from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, when your back-to-back reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs raise yet another Super Bowl banner into Arrowhead Stadium, and they will square off against the team that they defeated to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC Championship game. That's right. It is the Baltimore Ravens. So that's how it all kicks off. And, well, let's start it off. Here we go. Week number 1. Of course, it's the Ravens and the Chiefs. MF, I think we all know that's obviously going to be our game for week 1, obviously. And what a game that's going to be. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, what else is there to say? The next night, September 6th, at 8:15 on Peacock, in Sao Paulo, Brazil, it will be the Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Philadelphia Eagles. Wow, that is going to be a sight. The Sunday slate, notable games. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons. The new look Steelers, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. And, of course, the Falcons with their new quarterback, Kirk Cousins. That's going to be a fun game. Of course, we'll also address our respective teams. Of course, my Buffalo Bills will be opening up in what is very likely going to be our Zonk game of the week for week 1 against the dud Arizona Cardinals in Buffalo. Another interesting game, the Tennessee Titans against the Chicago Bears, both new look teams. Of course, the Chicago Bears, much made about them. Michael Bullock's New England Patriots will open up on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. Some other great standout games. How about the Houston Texans against the Indianapolis Colts? Stephon Diggs, a Houston Texan. and that great young Texan team going up against another great young team in Indianapolis. That's another one of our games of the week. How about the Jacksonville Jaguars against MF's Miami Dolphins at the Hard Rock? Could be the number 2 game. You never know. We will definitely think about that. Other standout games, of course, as I'm looking at it, let's see. We got Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's return to the NFL as his Los Angeles Chargers will open up at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. Of course, Tom Brady makes his NFL broadcasting debut, America's Game of the Week, the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns, from the home of this upcoming year's upcoming SummerSlam, Cleveland Browns Stadium. The Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns. The season premiere of Sunday Night Football, a rematch of last season's NFC wildcard game, Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams heading back to Ford Field in Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions. And the season premiere of Monday Night Football that will be simulcast on both ESPN and ABC, the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. Aaron Rodgers, as long as he doesn't get hurt, Aaron Rodgers versus the Jets against the San Francisco 49ers at Levi's Stadium, the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. So for me, those are my standouts when it comes to week 1 of the 2024 season. Not much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. What you and I could not have asked for a better start to the season. Ravens, Chiefs, AFC Championship rematch to start it all off.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be a lot of fun. What a way to start the NFL season, no doubt about it. I think we to get Kansas City and Baltimore to jump it off. Wow, what a matchup that's gonna be. Excitement without a doubt. And then on top of that, also remember on Friday from São Paulo, Brazil, the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles going down. So that's a massive matchup. That's exclusively on Peacock. And then, once you get into the week 1, then you get some. I'm not going to say there's some really good matchups, but there is going to be some interesting ones. Miami and Jacksonville, you don't know what you're going to get from Jacksonville. Don't know what we're going to get from Miami either. That's going to be an interesting thing. Of course, after that, Vegas versus the Chargers, obviously Seattle, Dallas and Cleveland. That's actually the first game Tom Brady is going to be doing as the new lead analyst for Fox. And then of course, Sunday night, we got a good one with the Rams and the Lions rematch from the playoffs from a year ago. And then the 49ers and the Jets. Let's see how that looks on Monday Night Football. So, yeah, excitement galore. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Well, like you said, I mean, this is going to be, I think this is going to be a really good season here, of course, like you said, starting off with the Ravens and the Chiefs, the rematch of the AFC Championship game. Yeah, then you got that Friday game with the Green Bay and Philadelphia on Peacock. Yeah, then to the Sunday slate, of course, the Patriots and the Bengals, of course, Russell Wilson's first game with the Pittsburgh against the Falcons. I mean, Jacksonville and Miami, Houston and Indianapolis. Of course, America's Game of the Week. Of course, the debut of Tom Brady as the lead analyst for Fox Sports. Of course, you got the Rams and the Lions on Sunday Night Football. And then the Jets and 49ers to close out the first week of the season. So let's browse through week number 2.
All right, week 2, MF. Again, I say, can you pick a better way for us to start week number 2 and what might end up being our game for that week?
Yeah, it might be because it's the Buddy Bowl. Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills back at the scene of the crime. If you're a Miami Dolphin fan, But the odd thing is that yes, it's in Miami, but it's a Thursday night game. You took away the heat and the humidity and the sunshine. That was a home turf advantage for the Dolphins. And I know a lot of Dolphin fans were very upset when they found out not that it's Buffalo, because they're confident that they can beat Buffalo. But you took it as a night game. That is where Miami Dolphin fans were crying foul on this one. They felt like the schedule makers kind of gave Buffalo an advantage in that game, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, Vegas and Baltimore, then of course Detroit and Tampa. That could be a playoff matchup. You never know. Cleveland and Jacksonville. Who knows how that's going to play out? Then of course Jets and Tennessee got a good one, but everybody knows the big game. 425, Cincinnati Bengals, Kansas City Chiefs. That's going to be the game of the week. No doubt about it. That's a wild one. Sunday night, Bears and Texans. And then Monday night, the Falcons and the Eagles for week number 2. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, week number 2, I mean, kicking it off with the season premiere of Thursday Night Football with the Bills and the Dolphins, and then you advance to the Sunday slate. I mean, there are some good ones here. I mean, you got New Orleans and Dallas. You got the Colts and the Packers, the 49ers and the Vikings. Obviously, the big highlight, of course, is the Cincinnati Kansas City game, 4:25 on CBS. So, yeah, definitely some good ones here. So it is yours, Florio.
What a way to start off week number 2, and what a way to start off the newest season of Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video. My Buffalo Bills against MF's Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium. A rematch of that incredible AFC East Division Championship game from January that the Buffalo Bills stole in Miami as Buffalo wrapped up their 4th consecutive AFC East Division Championship. And no better way to start that one off. My goodness. And then from there, Tampa Bay and Detroit, because of the fact that's actually another playoff rematch. Go figure. Detroit's going to be starting their season. They're starting off first against the Rams in a rematch of the wild card. Now they're going to square off against Tampa Bay the following week in a rematch of the divisional playoff. That was also won by Detroit at Ford Field. So Tampa Bay, Detroit, big early game there. Indianapolis and Green Bay. That's another that looks like another standout to me. Cleveland and Jacksonville. That's worth a look. And of course, Michael Bullock's Patriots will have their home opener at Gillette Stadium when they square off against the Seattle Seahawks. Of course, that will be the first home game for new Patriots head coach Gerard Mayo, a new era of New England Patriots football. It's the first time since all the way back in 1999 that the New England Patriots will not be coached by Bill Belichick, if you can imagine that. And that'll be at Gillette Stadium. And then from there, as I scroll on through the week number 2 matchups, Jets in Tennessee, definitely worth a look. Pittsburgh and Denver, Russell Wilson returning to Denver as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Of course, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs, another game that could be our game for me and MF. And MF, maybe a possible cross-flex option here with the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans. That's eligible for cross-flex. So we could easily invoke that if we wanted to. With those two great young teams. And then Atlanta and Philadelphia to close it out. We'll see how that goes on Monday Night Football. So those are the standouts, obviously, for week number 2. So with that, we move on to week number 3. And Michael Bullock, only fitting we started with you because look who's starting off week number 3 on Thursday Night Football on Prime Video.
Oh yes, the Patriots going up against the Jets. This will be officially Aaron Rodgers' first start against the Patriots as a member of the New York Jets. So that's definitely something we gotta keep an eye on there. Some other good ones here in week number 3. The Houston Texans and the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, I mean the Chargers and the Steelers. I mean, you also got the Ravens and the Cowboys, the 49ers and the Rams. And then we actually got a rare doubleheader on Monday Night Football with the Jacksonville and Buffalo, and then of course Washington and Cincinnati. So yeah, I mean, should be a good slate of games for week number 3. So it's yours, Florio.
Yes, Michael Bullock's Patriots starting off against the Jets, starting week 3 off against the Jets at MetLife on Amazon Prime Video on that Thursday night. The Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts. That's another standout game for me right there. Houston and Minnesota only because Stephon Diggs will be returning to Minnesota. Let's not forget, before he was a Buffalo Bill, he was a Minnesota Viking. And he gave the Minnesota Vikings a lot of great memories. Minneapolis Miracle, anyone? So we'll see how that goes. The Chargers and the Steelers, a lot of history with those two teams. Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers going up against the new look Steelers of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields at Acrisure Stadium. Green Bay and Tennessee, possible sleeper matchup there. MF's Miami Dolphins squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks at Lumen Field in Seattle. America's game of what will likely be America's game of the week. The Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World. That's going to be something. The San Francisco 49ers and the LA Rams at SoFi. That's looking good. Kansas City and Atlanta on Sunday night. The defending champs against the Falcons with Kirk Cousins in them. And then, of course, the Monday Night Football doubleheader. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills. Thankfully, not in London this time. So thank goodness for that. That's really where Buffalo's season took a turn for the worse after they were flying high after smashing Miami. And then Jacksonville started their downfall. But somehow, some way, that team found a way to come back and do what they did. I'm still baffled to this day by it. I was ready to throw the damn towel in, honestly. But Jacksonville and Buffalo, that could potentially be a possible game of the week for me and MF. You never know. That'll be at 7:30 on ESPN, and then at 8:15 on ABC. The other half of that Monday Night Football doubleheader, the Washington Commanders and the Cincinnati Bengals at Paycor Stadium. So interesting slate to say the least for week number 3. So I don't know which game MF and I will have. It'll depend on the records, of course, but we'll have to wait and find out. So with that, MF, week 3.
Yeah. If you really want my honest opinion, I mean, it could be Miami, Seattle. Maybe I could also see maybe that Baltimore, Dallas. Oh well, no, it won't.
No, it's on Fox.
Yeah, it is Fox. I'm sorry. Maybe Buffalo. Maybe the Buffalo Jacksonville game definitely is there. Pittsburgh, even Pittsburgh and the Chargers is an interesting matchup. No doubt about it. So I mean, there's a few games there. Chicago and Indy also could be a matchup. So, like we said, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, so on to week 4.
All right, week number 4. I will start it off, and let's see what we got. We started off with Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video. The Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants at MetLife. Moving on to the Sunday slate, the Los Angeles Rams against the Chicago Bears. That's worth a look. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans could potentially be a potential game of the week for myself and MF. But then again, I could say the same thing about Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. We know their history. That's worth a look. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, rematch of their wild card game where Tampa Bay embarrassed Philadelphia on that Monday night wild card game back in January. Michael Bullock's New England Patriots will be squaring off against the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers at SoFi. MF, I maybe have found the game of the week, possibly. Sunday Night Football, the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore.
Absolutely. Ooh. And don't forget, there's also a cross-flex possibility for the Monday Nighter, too.
Indeed, there is. You never know. There will be another Monday Night Football doubleheader in Week 4 at 7:30 on ESPN. MF, other than the Buffalo games, of course, I know this is a game that I know you're going to have circled in blood red on your calendar.
Oh, the team payback.
The team that ruined, that crushed your dreams of that elusive AFC East championship. The Tennessee Titans, the team that started the Miami Dolphins' downfall when Miami had that division fully within their grasp. But it was, you remember, it was also on a Monday night when the Miami Dolphins literally took the foot off the gas and let the Tennessee Titans not only come back, but also steal it. So Tennessee and Miami, obviously. And then possible cross-flex, you never know. 8:15 ABC, the Seattle Seahawks and the Detroit Lions. A lot of offensive fireworks. So Ford Field, you never ever know. So a lot of great action to look forward to in week number 4. MF, I mean, Jacksonville and Houston, easily worth a look. Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, worth a look. Kansas City and the Chargers, worth a look.
Every time they play, it's always exciting. As a matter of fact, every time they play, it's always a one-score affair. There never is one game where either team,
Yes. Buffalo and Baltimore, obviously the standout, of course. And Tennessee and Miami, and a possible cross-flex with Seattle and Detroit. Needless to say, a loaded week number 4.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Plus, also, there's a second possible cross-flex because of CBS, Minnesota, Green Bay at the not-so-frozen tundra in Lambeau Field.
That's worth a look.
That's also worth a look. You never know. Because could that be where J.J. McCarthy versus Jordan Love happen? You never know. Could. Indy and Pitt, obviously, a rematch all the way back at the 1990, I believe it's 1995.
The
AFC.
What about that infamous divisional playoff game?
Yeah.
When Vanderjagt missed the field goal. That crazy play, that fumble, that Indy almost ran back.
Yep. And then not only that, but also remember it was the AFC, I believe it was the AFC Championship game. Indianapolis Colts, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Our first one.
The first one.
First one we ever did. Harbaugh with the Hail Mary. That almost was.
That almost was. If it wasn't for that Hail Mary, if the Hail Mary would have worked, we'd be talking about the Indianapolis Colts playing in Super Bowl 30 instead of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we got that. And then all the other games that Anthony mentioned, so I don't really need to rehash that. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, some good games when it comes to week number 4. I mean, you got some old rivals, the Cowboys and the Giants kicking off on Thursday night. You also got a renewal of a rivalry with the Vikings and the Packers. You also got the Jags against the Texans. Steelers and Colts, like you said, with all the history, especially with that divisional round match back in 2005. Kansas City and LA. Of course, the Patriots and the Chargers. You also got Buffalo against Baltimore. Then you got another doubleheader on Monday night with the Titans against the Dolphins and the Seahawks against the Lions. So nothing more to say. Let's move right on to week number 5.
Yes, indeed. Week number 5, NMF. The first of the international games in jolly old England.
Yes, indeed. It's gonna be the New York Jets versus the going up against the Minnesota Vikings in that game. And I do believe that game will be held at the Cathedral. No, is at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I stand corrected. It will be at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London for that game. 9:30 kickoff. Yes, we're gonna be if you're doing that game, boys, good luck with that one. That one's gonna be interesting to see. Then on top of that, Buffalo and Jackson, Buffalo and Houston, obviously Indy and Jacksonville, Green Bay and the Rams could be a good matchup. And then as a particular buddy bowl, the New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins from Gillette Stadium, believe it or not, got cross-flexed to Fox. We lose the game. We do not get to do this game. We lost this one. How on earth did this land on Fox? Unless
later in the season. I'm gonna ask that very same question at the end of the season. You'll know when.
Yeah, but here's the reason why I say that. Is it possible they did this for Brady? Did they give this game Miami, New England for Tom Brady, Kevin Burkhardt, and the crew?
That could be.
Because that's the only reason why I think we got this. That happened. Because there's no other explanation unless they're going to do Brady back in Foxborough in the broadcast booth for that game. So, after that, let me see. Thursday night game, Falcons and Buccaneers. Of course, the Sunday nighter, oh. Whenever you say Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers, what do you think? The two greatest franchises in NFL history?
Super Bowls, baby.
Yep. And then Monday night, we actually got a good one. The New Orleans Saints and the Kansas City Chiefs. That one actually could be a sneaky good game. That could be a sleeper matchup. Bullock, it's yours.
Bullock, what do you think of MF's little theory there about that Dolphin Patriot game being on Fox, possibly for Tom Brady? It could work because CBS has the 425 games that week.
Yeah, that could actually work out because, like you said, CBS has got the 425 game, so maybe that's the exact reason why they did this. So, but we'll wait and see on it. But of course, got the Buccaneers and the Falcons to kick off the Thursday kickoff on Thursday night. Then you got the Ravens and the Bengals. Of course, the Bills and the Texans. Then you got the Colts and the Jaguars, and of course we just mentioned the Patriots and Dolphins at Gillette. Yeah, of course Green Bay and LA. So of course Dallas and Pittsburgh. That should be another good one. But yeah, there's. Yeah, so basically, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good games, of course, and then of course wrapping up the week with, of course, the Saints and Chiefs on Monday Night Football. So it's yours, Florio.
Tampa Bay and Atlanta starting it off, easily a standout right there. The Jets in Minnesota in London, the first of the London games. Gentlemen, how could you guys forget about the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals? Easy standout game right there.
I did mention it when I
okay.
talked about.
All right. So yeah, my apologies to you, Bullock. Baltimore and Cincinnati, easy standout right there. Of course, the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. Stephon Diggs going up against his former team, the Buffalo Bills. Only this time it's in Houston, so he doesn't have to worry about Bills Mafia. So we'll see how that works out. Indianapolis and Jacksonville, another standout. Miami and New England, in Gillette, Buddy Bowl, MF against Bullock, and possibly Tom Brady. That could be Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady's game. Very, very possible. Also, we have the Green Bay Packers and the LA Rams. Absolutely. Of course, MF, you never know. Could be we could have a possible cross flex, possibly with Dallas and Pittsburgh. I mean, we think about all of those legendary Super Bowls that they met in the 70s, and then of course most recently Super Bowl 30, and the Saints and the New Orleans Saints and the Kansas City Chiefs, possible sleeper matchups. So you never know. So we'll wait and see how that works out. So with that takes care of week number 5. Let's go into week number 6. And Michael Bullock, we started off with you. Let's get your standouts when it comes to week number 6. Bullock, are you there?
What are we talking about now?
Week number 6.
All right, let's get into that. So, of course, we kick it off with two rivals in the NFC West with the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. And of course, you got the Texans and the Patriots. That should also be a good one. The Browns and the Eagles. Of course, the Colts and the Texans as they get it going early. You got the Chargers and the Broncos. You got the Steelers against the Raiders. Of course, Sunday Night Football with the Bengals and Giants, and then of course the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets wrap it up. So it's yours, Florio.
All right. San Francisco and Seattle, possible cross flex right there. Prime Video. Sunday slate, another international game. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Chicago Bears. My. I mean, that's going to be an interesting matchup with the Jags and the Bears. And just give me one moment here. And it looks like that game will, yes, and that game will be at Tottenham Hotspur as well. Jacksonville and Chicago. Houston and New England, Michael Bullock's Patriots hosting the Houston Texans, the new look Texans. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints, almost always is a shootout in the Superdome. Cleveland and Philadelphia, nice fun little cross flex for Fox. Indianapolis and Tennessee, you know their history. Of course, a renewal of another all-time great rivalry, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Las Vegas Raiders. Steelers, Raiders, that legendary rivalry they had in the 70s. I mean, we're going to renew that at Allegiant. Michael Bullock, I don't know how you forgot this one. America's Game of the Week, the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. We all remember that special Saturday night game they had back in December where we thought Detroit had won on that 2-point conversion, but it turned out the guy didn't report. Very controversial indeed. So, but nonetheless, Detroit and Dallas will be renewing acquaintances. And then, of course, Monday Night Football, the Buffalo Bills against the New York Jets, MetLife. That's how we started it last year. Bills took out Aaron Rodgers. Leonard Floyd took out Aaron Rodgers, ruptured his Achilles, season over after 4 plays. Buffalo should have won that game, but they shot themselves in the foot, let that one get away. You know we haven't forgotten about that. So those are my standouts for week number 6. So, MF, week 6, What stands out to you?
I mean, every game that you guys have been talking about kind of sums up pretty much that week. So there's really not much for me to say here. So we're just going to move right on along to week number 7.
Okay, week number 7, back to the top here. And let's look at what we have in week number 7 on the pipeline. Started off, let's see, Thursday Night Football. You got the Denver Broncos and the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. Yet another international game, and this time it's Michael Bullock's turn. It's his team, the Patriots, the New England Patriots, going across the pond to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be at the Cathedral of Soccer itself, Wembley Stadium in London, England. Possible sleeper matchup with the Seattle and Atlanta. You got Tennessee. You got my Buffalo Bills squaring off against the Tennessee Titans. Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. That's another standout. The Houston Texans and the Green Bay Packers. CJ Stroud against Jordan Love. That could be a fun little matchup. MF's Miami Dolphins renewing old acquaintances with the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Another cross flexor for Fox. Of course, you also have the and now MF. You mentioned about how in the world that Miami New England game got cross flexed to Fox. How on earth did this one get cross flexed to Fox? The rematch of Super Bowl 58, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. How did they get that one instead of us?
Yeah, I know that
Easily
was
easily.
like that game there when we found out that Fox got it, boy, we were so mad, absolutely devastated when we found out Fox got that game. We were not happy.
Sunday Night Football, the New York Jets and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we have another Monday Night Football doubleheader, 8:15 on ESPN. Good one here. The Baltimore Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium. And how about this? I only mentioned this because it'll be on at 9 p.m. on exclusively to ESPN Plus. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Arizona Cardinals. Very exciting week number 7, to say the very least. NMF, of course, the headliner, obviously, the rematch of Super Bowl 58, Kansas City and San Francisco at Levi's.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the big one. That's the one that everybody is waiting for. That's the one that everybody's looking forward to. Like you said, Indy, Miami, that's an acquaintance of the old AFC Eastern Division. Remember, Indianapolis used to be in the AFC East with Miami and all the guys. So it's good to see that we'll get to see them again. Obviously, the London series, the Jags and the Patriots, we'll see how that plays out. Tennessee, Buffalo, that could be the game of the week. So could Cincinnati and Cleveland also as well. Who knows how that plays out? Houston, Green Bay, yes, possible. KC and San Fran. Oh my God, how did that slip through our fingers? Obviously, we're not happy about that. Then we got ourselves Pittsburgh and the Jets. That could be a good one. And then the doubleheader, of course, game number 1, the Ravens and the Buccaneers. And then, oddly enough, if you got ESPN Plus, ladies and gentlemen, this one's on the house. The Chargers and the Cardinals from State Farm Stadium. So we got some good ones. Bullock, it's yours.
Bullock, are you there?
Mike?
Oh,
I think we might have lost them.
I think you're right. So we will definitely await for him to return. But for right now, let's dive into week number 8. And MF, you started off week number 8. What looks good to you?
Well, obviously, start out with the Thursday night game, the Rams versus the Vikes. That's going to be a good one. Then, once you get into the Sunday slate, Cleveland and Baltimore. Oh boy, you already know how these AFC North division games really get crazy. That's going to be a good one. Tennessee and Tennessee and Detroit could be a sleeper matchup. Indy and Houston looks like a good one. Uh, then once you get down to the bottom, man, do we got some good ones here in the second half. Buffalo and Seattle could be a good one. Cincinnati and Philly at 425. Of course, the other one is KC and Vegas. Normally, divisional games are always tough. Then Sunday night, we could definitely cross flex this. This definitely would be worthy. And why not? Cowboys, Niners at Santa Clara, Levi. And then that is really it. Monday night, not a good matchup. I'm sorry. Pittsburgh and the Giants, even though, yeah, it's there. But Cowboys and Niners, that Sunday night football game. And I think we may have found our game. We'll see. It's yours.
Well, as we always say, and as we always do it by our standards, of course, it all depends on those records. We'll have to wait and find out. But week number 8, Minnesota and the Rams to kick it off on Prime Video Thursday night. The Sunday slate, Baltimore and Cleveland. That's a standout. Tennessee and Detroit, a potential sleeper matchup. Indy and Houston. That's another potential game of the week. MF's Miami Dolphins will be squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals. Michael Bullock's Patriots will be squaring off against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets in Foxborough. Another potential sleeper, the New Orleans Saints and the LA Chargers. My Buffalo Bills squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks, going into Seattle in the 12th man. That's going to be a toughie. But MF, there is another potential game of the week. We got the cross flex at 425. Philadelphia and Cincinnati. That might be our game of the week. You never know. Depending on how the records look. It could end up being ours. And then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers renewing their hostilities, of course. One of the great NFC rivalries of all time. And then rounded out on Monday Night Football with the New York Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's week number 8 in a nutshell. Michael Bullock, if you're back in, give us your thoughts on weeks number 7 and 8, if you would. So, well, all right. All right. So with that being said, let's move on now to week number 9. And while we wait for Bullock, I'll take it for a spin for week number 9, and here we are. And how about this? We start off week number 9 on Halloween night, on All Hallows Eve. How about that, huh? And we started off with, well, you can make an argument that this is a treat and not a trick. Well, depending on the Jets, of course, but it will be the Houston Texans and the New York Jets at MetLife on Halloween night. What a way to start that off for week number 9. Sunday slate, got the Dallas Cowboys going up against the Atlanta Falcons. That's a sleeper matchup. Buddy Bowl Part 2, MF. Your Miami Dolphins, my Buffalo Bills at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. Won't be quite as cold, but that's usually when it starts getting cooler. That is late fall, so I don't think it's going to be bone-chilling cold, but nonetheless, Miami and Buffalo round 2 in Buffalo. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Cleveland Browns. That's worth a look. Indy and Minnesota. That's also worth a look. Bullock's Patriots going up against the Tennessee Titans. America's game of the week, the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. That's going to be a knockdown, drag-out affair. The LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. That's another good one there. Sunday Night Football. another potential game of the week for me and MF, possibly. How about the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field? And then on Monday night, November the 4th, which happens to be my brother Nick's birthday, solid matchup here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. That could be a possible cross flex. You never ever know, depending on the records. So that's it for week number 9. MF, Miami and Buffalo round 2, and of course Detroit and Green Bay at Lambeau. Just some of the highlights of week number 9.
Yeah, not only that, but obviously once you get into some of the other ones, like we said, Chargers in Cleveland could be a good one. Minnesota, Indy could be a good one. Like you said, Green Bay, Detroit, that's the first one we're looking at. The Rams and the Seahawks definitely, and then maybe a possible cross flex. We'll see. Eagles and Jaguars, depending on how the records go, that could be a cross flex game. But other than that, yeah, you pretty much touched it.
It's not really a cross flex because it's AFC at NFC, so that technically falls under our umbrella.
Yeah, true.
Not
so
necessarily
we'll
a cross flex.
Not really, but you never know.
It has to be either all NFC or NFC at AFC.
Yeah.
For it to be a true cross flex.
Yeah. So we'll see. So, Anthony, it's yours.
All right. All right, MF. Like I said, while we wait for Bullock, unless he's ready, let's get into week number 10. What stands out to you?
Right out of the gate, you got yourself the game of the week when you got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday night. Right out of the gate, you're just like, oh my God. Then Buffalo, Indy, you never know. Minnesota, Jacksonville, Denver, and KC. Now I know a lot of people's like, oh, Denver's not that great. Kansas City is Kansas City. But divisional games, you never know how that plays, man. That can go a number of different ways. Next up, Tampa and San Francisco. Then you get into the late games. Then obviously Tennessee and the Chargers. And well, boy, did we vulture this one. Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys at Jerry World. How on earth did the mothership steal it? Oh, that could be the game.
That's what you get for taking the Super Bowl from us.
Yeah, that is.
Yep.
Then, of course, Sunday night, Lions and Texans.
Possible cross flex.
And then, depending on the records, maybe even Monday night, Miami Dolphins and the Rams. Never know.
Another good one.
So, yeah, it's yours.
Very possible. Loaded slate in week number 10. Cincinnati and Baltimore. That could be our game of the week, MF. Very possible because of their bodies of work. Bullock's Patriots going up against the Chicago Bears. My Buffalo Bills against the Indianapolis Colts. Another AFC East old rivalry renewed. Minnesota Jacksonville worth a look. Atlanta and New Orleans in the Superdome. Shootout potential there. San Francisco and Tampa Bay. That's a very appetizing game for Fox in the early window. Tennessee and the Chargers, possible sleeper matchup. Philly and Dallas. My goodness, that is going to be. We know what those two are capable of. A possible cross flex with the Lions, the Detroit Lions against the Houston Texans at NRG, formerly Reliant Stadium, on the Sunday night. And Monday night, Veterans Day. Monday night, folks. MF's Miami Dolphins against the Los Angeles Rams at SoFi. Ooh, is that going to be a goodie? So those three, that 425 with Philly and Dallas, possible cross flex with Detroit and Houston, and Miami and the Rams, along with Cincinnati and Baltimore. I mean, loaded slate when it comes to the Veterans Day weekend in week number 10. Week 11 up next. And so let's take a look at week number 11, guys. And I'll start it off. Prime Video Thursday night, Washington and Philadelphia. Not really, nothing really to write home about there. The Sunday slate. We got another great Sunday slate. The oldest rivalry in the NFL, the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. Ooh, that's going to be good. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Detroit Lions. Potential game of the week right there. MF's Dolphins will be squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders at Hard Rock. Bullock's Patriots will be hosting the Los Angeles Rams at Gillette. Cleveland and New Orleans, possible sleeper matchup. The Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. In Pittsburgh. Enough said there. Minnesota and Tennessee worth a look. Seattle and San Francisco on Fox. Easily the standout game of week number 11. The best quarterback rivalry in the NFL today. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, one more time. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills at Highmark for the first time since that divisional playoff game where those damn Chiefs ripped our hearts out and did the damn Mexican hat dance on it again. But let's be realistic. They only won because of a technicality. The damn wide right. That damn wide right. Enough said. And then from there, Cincinnati and the Chargers. That's also worth a look. Interesting Monday night game. The Indianapolis Colts and the New York Jets. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. But Monday Night Football. The Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys. The Diggs brothers. Stephon Diggs against his brother, Trayvon Diggs of Dallas. Oh my. Is that going to be something? So, needless to say, week 11 looking pretty damn appetizing, if I do say so myself. MF, I mean, how many game of the week candidates do you see on this week 11 list? My gosh.
Absolutely, man. There's at least maybe 4, maybe 5. You can go with. So yeah, you're absolutely right. This can go a number of different ways. I don't think there's anything more to say. So yeah, Anthony, it's yours. Let's go into week 12, and with the week 12, look, I mean, let's say what we need to say here. It starts out with Pittsburgh and Cleveland on the Thursday night. Then after that, I mean, it can go a number of different ways. You can go Houston and Tennessee, Detroit and Indy. After that, obviously, then you get Green Bay and San Fran. There, once you get to there, obviously the Buddy Bowl, the Patriots and the Dolphins, the round number 2 in Miami, and then we get into the Sunday nighter, which is a really good one, maybe a cross flexer, with the Eagles and the Rams, and then the Monday nighter, the Ravens and the Chargers. So yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yes. Pittsburgh, Cleveland to start it off on the Thursday night. Minnesota and Chicago, possible sleeper game. As could be Tennessee and Houston. Also as could be Detroit and Indianapolis. Of course, Buddy Bowl, Patriots, Dolphins. This time on the mothership, MF. This time we got it. So that's all I can say there at the Hard Rock. Of course, America's game of the week, the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau. I think that's when the tundra might start getting frozen at that time. Possible cross flex with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams. And how about this? Both primetime games at SoFi Stadium. Sunday night, it'll be all about the Rams. And then Monday night, the other resident of SoFi Stadium, the Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, and by the way, Ravens Chargers, brother versus brother. John Harbaugh versus Jim Harbaugh for the first time since they met in Super Bowl 47, when John Harbaugh's Ravens defeated Jim Harbaugh's San Francisco 49ers in the Superdome. A game that went from an absolute dud to a 5-star classic in one found swoop. So we'll see what fireworks they have at SoFi. That could be our game of the week right there. You don't know. So a little bit of a week 11, if I'm going to be honest with you. So with that being said, we move on to week number 13. And guess what, folks? This week 13. It's Thanksgiving week, and you know what that means. We're going to be celebrating Turkey Day the ravishing way. And MF, you will literally be celebrating Turkey Day the ravishing way. I'll explain in a moment. And MF, we could possibly have the 12:30 game on CBS. Thanksgiving triple header, you know the deal. CBS 12:30. Potential game here for us, you never know. The Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions at Ford Field. Whoa, baby. Followed at 4:30 on Fox with the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys from Jerry World. And here you go, MF. You're going to be celebrating Turkey Day the ravishing way. Your Miami Dolphins playing on Thanksgiving Day at 8:20 on NBC primetime Thanksgiving night at Lambeau against the Green Bay Packers. Wow. That is something. For the second straight year, we will have a Black Friday game. Friday, November 29th, 3 p.m., Amazon Prime Video. It'll be the Las Vegas Raiders squaring off against the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. And the loaded Thanksgiving slate continues. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Atlanta Falcons, potential sleeper matchup. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, Fox stole a good one from us. Houston and Jacksonville. That easily could have been a game of the week right there. Bullocks Patriots going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Seattle and the Jets, worth a possible look. The Rams and the Saints in the Superdome. And MF, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, possible Super Bowl preview. Or could we possibly have a cross flex? The San Francisco 49ers and the Buffalo Bills in Highmark on Sunday Night Football. And then close it out with Monday Night Football, the Cleveland Browns and the Denver Broncos at Empower Field in Mile High. Wow. Another appetizing slate of action. So not much more to say. MF, week number 13. I already know what easily stands out for you. You, my friend, you and your Dolphins in week number 13, you boys and yourself especially, MF, you're going to be celebrating Turkey Day the ravishing way.
Yes, we're going to Green Bay for that game. It's remarkable to know that we're going to get that opportunity to play on Thanksgiving, but always a dream come true, always a moment for us to get excited, but yeah, we'll wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, it's going to be wild. It's going to be interesting to see. So really nothing more to say. And Anthony, let's move on.
All right, MF, week number 14. What looks good to you?
Week number 14. Well, right out of the gate, of course, a good Thursday nighter. Green Bay and Detroit. You never know how that plays out. And then after that, then you get like the really good matchups, like the divisionals. For one, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Then you got Jacksonville and Tennessee, another good divisional matchup. And then what could possibly be the game of the day, at least on the Sunday slate. Well, also another divisional matchup, Miami and the Jets in Miami. But then you get Buffalo and the Rams from you get that one there. Sunday night, oh my goodness. Chargers Chiefs round 2. You get that one. And then Monday night, we got ourselves a possible good one. Cincinnati Bengals and the Dallas Cowboys? Who knows? We'll see. Anthony, it's yours.
Potential game of the week right there. You never know. Looking at week 14, Green Bay and Detroit. That's cross flex eligible if we want it. If the records go that way. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets against MF's Dolphins at the Hard Rock. Oh, by the way, the Sunday, that particular Sunday just happens to be Michael Bullock's birthday. So Bullock, you got yourself a great day of NFL action to look forward to on your birthday. That's the good news. The bad news is your team's not playing. Your team's on bye that week. Your Patriots are on bye that week. So I know, but at least you got a great day of action here. Well, not the greatest day, but, decent day. Atlanta and Minnesota. Kirk Cousins makes his return to Minnesota as an Atlanta Falcon. It'd be interesting to see how the crowd goes for him. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, that's a standout. Jacksonville and Tennessee, that's a standout. Unfortunately, Buffalo and the Rams is on the other network, but, it is what it is. Chicago, San Francisco, I believe that's going to be America's game of the week. With all due respect to Buffalo and the Rams, just as great. Sunday Night Football, the LA Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs from Arrowhead. And then Monday Night Football, Cincinnati and Dallas. That could be a game of the week. You never know. But, of course, it depends on the records when we get there. So those are the easy standouts, no question. So let's move on now to week number 15. And we started off. Oh, good way to start it off. Good one here. The Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers at Levi's. Thursday night, Prime Video. Kansas City Chiefs and the Cleveland Browns. Good one there. MF's Dolphins going up against the Houston Texans. Tua versus CJ. Those two dynamo offenses. I'm going to tell you right now, that Miami-Houston game could be our game of the week. You never know. That could be a possible track meet if you really think about it. Those two dynamo offenses and all those young studs, that's got 5-star potential. It really does. Keep an eye on that Miami-Houston game. Very possibly could be our game of the week. Fox got this one from CrossFlex. It's the Jets in Jacksonville. That's worth a look. Cincinnati and Tennessee, worth a look. Bullock's Patriots will be playing against the Arizona Cardinals. But then again, as great as that Miami-Houston game is, there are some other potentials. How about we got a brother game, from me and my brother. My Buffalo Bills against my brother Nick's Detroit Lions at Ford Field. The Super Bowl that all of America, especially myself and my brother Nick, this was the Super Bowl that we wanted. We weren't the only ones. America wanted this Super Bowl. We almost had this Super Bowl. Buffalo and Detroit. Could you have imagined if that had been the Super Bowl at Allegiant in February? My God, that would have been something. But here we go. Buffalo and Detroit, man. That is going to be a fun game. That could be our game of the week. You never know, MF. Interesting note here. Doubleheader on both networks in week number 15. Both networks will have doubleheaders. Very interesting. Tampa Bay and the Chargers, that's worth a look. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Battle of Pennsylvania, good one there. Green Bay and Seattle, Sunday night, we know that history. And a Monday Night Football doubleheader. 8 o'clock on ABC, the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. And then at 8:30 on ESPN, the Atlanta Falcons and the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Very interesting. Week number 15. Couple of possible cross flexes with the Rams and the Niners and the Packers and the Seahawks. But MF, 2 games on our end that immediately stand out for week 15. The Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans, which I think has track meet potential. And also in the early window, and then in the late window, Buffalo and Detroit. Miami, Houston, Buffalo, Detroit. Those are the 2 games I've got an eye on.
Absolutely. Those are the 2 games that I would have my eye on as well. Those will be 2, like you said, track meets. You basically summed up everything that we needed to say on that one. So I'll dive quickly into week number 16. And, right out of the gate, Thursday night, Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals is definitely a good game. Then on top of that, we actually do have a special Saturday game. And boy, dude, they gave us a great one. When you got the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. Are you kidding me? And then Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Do you know the history that me and Florio has with Pittsburgh and Baltimore? Especially these type of games?
Stocking stuffer.
Yeah. So, it's on Fox.
Oh, yeah. We just noticed. Hey, Houston, Kansas City works.
It would. Then on top of that, then you got obviously Buffalo and New England. We got that one. Indy and Tennessee. You got that one. Obviously one other game that we could get, a 425, the 49ers and the Miami Dolphins. Who knows? That could be a good one. Possible cross flex on Sunday night between the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. You never know. But that's really it. Yes, I'm gutted. Pittsburgh and the Ravens on Saturday. Oh Lord! But the game's on Fox. We don't do Fox games.
We got a lump of coal on that one.
Yep.
Even though it's 4 days before Christmas at that point,
but still,
it is a lump of coal.
That's a lump of coal. How did they did us dirty again? Why would you do that to us?
Super Bowl wasn't enough for you?
Nah.
Super Bowl rematch wasn't enough for you?
Then they ripped one of the greatest rivalries of all time on us. Damn.
Yeah.
Nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Damn indeed.
I'm mad.
So am I. But that's not to say we got some other great matchups in week number 16. As we'll be approaching Christmas time at that particular point in time. Cleveland and Cincinnati on Prime Video. Houston and Kansas City. Can you say track meet possibly at Arrowhead? You never know. Of course, round 2 for me and Bullock, as it'll be his Patriots against my Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. So see how that works out. What about Detroit and Chicago at Soldier Field? That's got potential right there. Tennessee and Indianapolis, also worth a look. The Rams and the Jets, I believe, also worth a look. Minnesota and Seattle, worth a look. San Francisco and Miami. Hey, at least they made it up to us the next day. We could possibly have San Fran and Miami as our game of the week, and it would work. It's on the mothership, so we could easily do it. We do have a possible cross flex option, provided the records fall into place. Tampa Bay and Dallas on the Sunday night, and then Monday Night Football, New Orleans and Green Bay on what will most certainly be the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. It's got to be frozen by then, no question. So that's week number 16. Now we get into Christmas, week 16, or week 17, rather. And we're going to make history, folks. There will be two NFL games on Christmas Day. But here's the thing. Both of these games will be exclusively on Netflix. Yes, you heard me right. Both Christmas Day games exclusively to Netflix. And they're both good ones, too. 1 p.m., the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers from Acrisure Stadium. And then at 4:30, the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. Those could easily be the two games of the week right there. You never know. The next night, Thursday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears. That's worth a look. Sunday slate, the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. Aaron Rodgers plays in Buffalo as a Jet. Tennessee and Jacksonville, obviously worth a look. Green Bay and Minnesota, worth a look. Vegas and New Orleans, only because Derek Carr of the Saints going up against his former team in the Raiders. 4:25 on Fox, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, round 2 at the Link. Sunday Night Football, possible game of the week, the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns. Monday Night Football, December 30th, possible cross-flex, MF. Maybe a possible cross-flex. Rematch of the NFC Championship game, the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers at Levi's. And there are 5 other games on the schedule. 3 of those 5 games will serve as a triple header on the NFL Network. Out of these 5 games, the Denver Broncos and the Cincinnati Bengals, the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams, the Los Angeles Chargers against Michael Bullock's New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts and the New York Jets, and the Atlanta Falcons and the Washington Commanders. 3 of those 5 games will serve as a triple header on the NFL Network on Saturday, December 28th. We will not know that until we get to that week. So not much more to say. That's how we look. But MF, yes, the games may be on Netflix. They may be on Netflix exclusively. But damn it to hell, we got ourselves a couple of big-time stocking stuffers on our end of the ledger.
Oh, yeah, man. When you get Kansas City and Pittsburgh and Baltimore and Houston on Christmas, Merry Christmas, everyone. So, yeah, absolutely, man. I'll bet you anything the NBA is going to be pissed because normally the NBA, this is normally their holiday. Normally, everybody knows their lane. Everybody stays in their lane. The NFL has Thanksgiving. The NBA has Christmas. College normally had New Year's Day. But actually now the NHL's infiltrated New Year's Day with the Winter Classic. So, but now the NFL's like, yeah, we're gonna jump in on that. We're gonna jump in on your Christmas Day. We're gonna ruin your Christmas, NBA. Sorry. And and now for the first time ever, congratulations, Netflix. Welcome to the party. So yeah, this is gonna be wild. So this is interesting. Other than that, Anthony, you alluded to all the other games. And then obviously week number 18, it's all divisional matchups. So obviously, once you get all divisionals, you never know. Obviously, the ones that stand out right out of the gate, Cleveland, Baltimore, obviously Jacksonville, Indy, Pittsburgh at Cincinnati, Houston and Tennessee, Tampa, New Orleans. That could be a sleeper matchup. And you always know that one of these games will be on Sunday night. We don't know which one it's going to be yet, but one of these games traditionally gets bumped to Sunday night. So we'll see how that plays out. Anthony Florio, is yours.
And before I give you my thoughts, let's also not forget week number 18, 2 games. 2 of these games will be played on Saturday at 4:30 and 8 p.m. on ESPN and ABC, with the remainder to be played on Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. and 4:25, and one matchup to be played Sunday Night Football, 8:20 on NBC. Specific dates, start times, and networks for Week 18 matchups will be determined and announced following the conclusion of Week 17. What stands out to me for these divisional matchups? Cleveland and Baltimore, Minnesota and Detroit, Chicago and Green Bay, Jacksonville and Indianapolis, Seattle and the Rams, Buffalo. This is actually round 2 for Buffalo and New England. Very interesting that they'll be meeting twice in the final 3 weeks. Very interesting. Miami and the Jets, Giants and Philly, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, New Orleans and Tampa, Houston and Tennessee. So we shall see what happens. So with that will put the bow on this very special edition of TXN Sports World, our annual NFL schedule release special. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We will be back with you tomorrow night, 10:30, MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, the Cerebral Smack Talk we got Friday Night SmackDown and we got AEW Collision. We'll get into that tomorrow night. And then on Monday night, we do it all over again with Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw, the go-home show for the King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. The Raw final for the King of the Ring, Gunther versus Jey Uso. And the women's final, the Queen of the Ring final for Raw, Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria. That and a whole lot more that will emanate from the legendary Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina. That will be on Monday night. And we will also have the return of my Tony's Take, my traditional Tony's Take, Impact Wrestling and NXT Level Up. And then Wednesday night, MF will have it. Brace Fan 95. It will be Wednesday Night Madness, as it will be NXT, AEW Dynamite, their go-home show for Double or Nothing. And then we will also have the Celtics chat, as we'll recap Game 1 of the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals against either the New York Knicks or the Indiana Pacers. And then we will also have the Game 1 Eastern Conference Final edition of the Ranger Roundup, as the New York Rangers, we now know it will be them against the Florida Panthers. That will start on Wednesday night. So we'll get into all of that on Wednesday as part of Wednesday Night Madness. Next Friday night, TXN Sports World Conference Finals. We will preview the conference finals of both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals in the NBA and the Eastern and Western Conference Finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And then that Saturday, and in addition to that, we will also have to figure out a day to do the preview for the WWE Crown Jewel paper. I mean, not Crown Jewel, King and Queen of the Ring, because we got to get into that next week. And then maybe the night after, maybe we do SmackDown and preview, recap the King and Queen of the Ring, and then a preview of Double or Nothing. So exciting, busy and exciting content coming up over the next week or so, my friends, and you're not going to want to miss it. So that's it for this. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Raceway 95, this is Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF, Michael Fletcher, and of course, in spirit, Michael Bullock, and as always, the First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Saturday. And until tomorrow night, for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching the 2024 NFL schedule release special of TXN Sports World right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. So long, and bye, everybody. Bye.